Hi there, and welcome to the Home Studio Rescue here on YouTube. My name is Chris, and today we're going to be talking about whether or not you should go to audio school. Now, if you were to ask me this question, my question for you would be, what do you want to get out of it? Do you want to work in a commercial studio? Do you want to work for some big name mixer or audio engineer? Do you want to just build your own home studio? It just depends on where you want to go after you start your career after school. Now, what's going to happen is if you go to audio school, you'll get done and you're going to get an internship. Everyone starts with an internship. I had 20 people in my class. I went to the Blackbird Academy in Nashville, and out of those 20, one of us started with a job, a paid gig as an assistant engineer, and he was also the valedictorian of our class. Very sharp guy, very likable person. And that's the other thing, is that you getting an internship or a job at a studio really has, the audio stuff, the technical stuff has little to do with that. It's more about your personality. Can people stand to be in the room with you? Are you a jerk? It just depends. Do you know when to keep your mouth shut? A lot of times what you say in a session can almost derail a session. And that's one of the things that, you learn, they teach you at Blackbird, is you have to kind of know your place, and you have to know when to speak and how to speak and what to say and what not to say, what to do and what not to do, like taking your cell phone out or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of things where it's basically etiquette training for how to be around people who are making music at a very high stake, these big people. I mean, I was able to intern for a couple different people in Nashville, and I got to be around bands like The Fray, Third Eye Blind, John Oates. I got to be on a session where he was producing the band for a week. And really, you have to be a fly on the wall, and you have to do that in a way where it doesn't make people uncomfortable. And so that was one of the big things that they taught me at audio school. I also went to audio school with a lot of knowledge of recording. I had been recording my own music in other bands for 3 or 4 years, and I went to Blackbird. And if you haven't been there, it's like the Willy Wonka of recording studios, and I got sucked in by my gear lust. And 2 months later, I was at school after being married we went there the week after we got married, and 2 months later we were there. So it was a great experience, like I said, but audio school. You don't need to go there to get an internship. You can get an internship anywhere. You can do that just by networking. It's not necessary to go to audio school. Now, in Nashville, it's helpful. Even they have, at Blackbird, they reach as far as LA. I mean, they have contacts everywhere, and so they can help you. But really, at the end, you're kind of on your own, and you're going to be looking for an internship, and that's your way to get your foot in the door. And at that point, it's going to take you a year, like 6 months to a year to even 5 years before you really get established as an audio engineer or an assistant or even making some kind of pay. You're probably going to end up working like waiting tables or doing some kind of part-time job at night and working in the studio at day. It's not an easy job. It's not an easy route to go. It's going to take a long time, and it's very competitive. And, Nashville and LA are the places where full-time work really exists. You might find some studios in whatever state you live in or wherever you are in the country where they are busy and they have positions and things like that. But it's very hard. You can't just go on to Indeed and type in audio engineer and find jobs. I mean, if you have the whole country as your search, then maybe. But the jobs are far and few between, and they're very competitive and hard to get. And you have to be excellent, and you have to be likable. And, it's just, that's where at Blackbird they did teach that. And so that was really cool. I mean, also we were in the studio every week. We had our hands on Neve consoles, on, Fairchilds, on $25,000 microphones, $100,000 microphones. I got to be around all that stuff, and it was amazing. And you really do get your hands on the stuff. So if you were to go to audio school, I would recommend you go to Blackbird. It's a great experience, and it's a cool place, and you're going to get your hands on the equipment. And the people there really do care about you. Now, there are other options for $80,000 to $100,000, and I wouldn't ever spend that money. And honestly, to go to Blackbird, it was $20,000, and it was probably another 20 grand for living, for room and board and all that stuff. Probably spent $40,000 going to audio school, and you could take that money and build an amazing home studio, or your own studio. And that's really what I would recommend, is if you're coming out of high school and you're like, you want to be in audio, ask your parents, say, okay, I'd like to use my 5,000 of my tuition to build a studio, and do that, and go down that route. And then, there's a lot of other like degrees you can get and things like that, that if audio doesn't work for you, you can fall back on that. But if you're all in, if you know that this is your dream and this is your passion, and you're going to do everything you can to pursue that, then go to audio school, and it can help you. But if you want to do it on your own, you can do it with the internet, YouTube, Recording Revolution, Produce Like a Pro, my channel, hopefully. You can learn everything you need to learn, and everything I learned at audio school. You might not get your hands on the most expensive gear in the world, and that was part of the thing, I think, is I always wondered, oh man, I wonder if I recorded with a U47 through a Neve, I bet the drums will sound better, and they do, but it's not. What I really found out at school was that it's more about the musician, it's more about the instrument, it's more about, all of that stuff, the song, all of that matters way more than recording through a $10 million chain, because we recorded really great bands. We recorded the best studio musicians in the world in Nashville, but we also recorded some really crappy bands and stuff where their music just didn't sound good. And it doesn't matter what they're recording through. If your song sucks and you're not a good musician, then it's not going to sound good on an Eve. It's not going to sound good through a U47. A U47 is not going to make you sound like Frank Sinatra. It won't make you sound like Chris Cornell, or I don't know, Justin Bieber. I don't know, whoever you're shooting for. Those people, it's their voice that makes them sound like that. And so at any rate, what I basically learned was it wasn't the gear. And the other thing was that, it's going to be a 5 to 10 year process to really establish yourself with a career in audio. And you have to have nothing holding you back, and you have to really want it, because you do start with sweeping the floors, cleaning the toilets, and getting coffee for people. And you have to do that. You have to be awesome. You get food orders, you got to get it right, and then maybe one day you'll get to touch some recording equipment. So, I think the point of this video for me is just to kind of give you guys a picture of what it is to start at the bottom, because that's where you are. And no matter if you have an audio engineering degree from Full Sail or Blackbird, or you've learned stuff on your own, or you're coming into it with no experience at all, you don't need to go to audio school for that. You're going to start as an intern, and then from there, maybe you can get a job. And for some people, that might not even be what you want to do. For me, I'd rather be in my own home studio working with people I pick and choose who I want to work with. And, I'm not getting other people coffee. I mean, I'll get them coffee if they want it, but it's like my job is to record people. And if I was in Nashville, I don't know if I would have even made it that far. I might have become an assistant. I might have become an actual engineer if I would have stuck it out and stayed there. But my life was here in Virginia, and I had to come back. So that's my rant for now. I would say out of the 20 people I went to school with, in my class, there was maybe 5 people who are working and making their daily living through audio. And that's just the reality of it. It's probably about 20%. It's like the 80-20 rule. Probably 20% of the people that go to those schools, maybe if they're lucky, will get a job and actually make some money in the industry. So I guess the newsflash, or the main headline, would be, you just got to know why you're going to school. And if you are going to audio school and you want to be in the music business and you want to be in the industry, and hopefully you're just out of high school or really young, you're going to have to work really hard and be dedicated to it. And it's not for everyone, and it's not easy. And the jobs that you're looking for, if you're going to go to school for it, you're going to school for something where the jobs kind of don't exist. In Nashville and LA, they do. And then from there, it's very competitive. So, just know what you're getting yourself into. And I wish you the best. And if you agree or disagree, or, if you've gone, tell us your story in the comments below about your audio school experience. I have a lot of friends that have been to places like Full Sail, and the joke, 10 years ago was that they would work at Guitar Center. So I know this comes off as a skeptical video, as just as a cynical video, and that wasn't my point. I just want to be realistic with you, and I'd like to save you $80,000, whatever. I'd rather you put that into your own equipment, take courses online, go and try to record bands and just do that. Start there, get better, record your own music, do whatever you have to do to learn it that way. And when you're good enough, maybe one day you'll actually make a living from recording and mixing people. I'm still trying to get there. I've been doing it for 10 years now, and it is a labor of love, and I mean, yeah, so that's all I got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you on the next one.